Hello, YouTube. I am your host, the Crimson Warrior, and today I want to talk to you guys about Shaddolls winning the OCG structure deck polls. Yes, we won the structure deck polls by 1%. 1% beating Sacred Beasts by just a hair, like just a little bit. It was amazing. 34% of the Yu-Gi-Oh community came together to say that we want more Shaddol supports. And to just see that is absolutely amazing. I mean, Shaddolls are my favorite deck of all time, and to see the whole community in the OCG and the TCG pull up behind the deck and to say that we want more support, we want Shaddolls back on the map, that's huge, especially for me, because Shaddolls were my first meta deck. That's what I picked up, and sadly, I learned the deck right when it got hit. I played the 1 week, I played for a couple weeks, and then when I got a hang on the deck, the ban list came out, and I had one more week before it went into effect, and one last locals to play it, and then it was over. That was it. So to see the deck maybe coming back to competitive play is huge, and that just makes me so happy. Thank you guys so much as a community binding together to make this happen. Without you guys, without everyone voting on the polls, without Konami asking us our opinions and putting the names on the board, this would have never happened. And now, in October, I believe it is, the OCG is getting a Shaddol structure deck, which means in a year or two, we're probably getting an OCG, not an OCG, we're probably going to get the Shaddol structure deck. Hopefully legitimate and viable. That would be incredible. Now, on to less pleasant things. 33% of the Yu-Gi-Oh community voted for Sacred Beasts. Now, I'm a competitive player, so take this with a grain of salt. But for me, why would you throw away your vote? We've tried to support the Egyptian gods, the original, with cards like Raya's Disciple and other stuff, and we've just proven time and time again that unless we're gonna haul an entire 40-card archetype around these cards, they're just not gonna be good, and it's too conditional. And so you want to give viably worse cards more support in the form of what? The Harmattan, Lord of Searing Thunder, Haman, all that. And what? They summon one tributes 3 traps, one tributes 3 spells. What's the other one do? And then what do they do on summons? What's the win con of the deck? Please tell me. I don't know. The god cards are flimsy win cons at best, easy to take care of at worst, and provide no competitive viability to the community. So even as casual players, all you're getting is at best a really bad rogue tier deck that's not gonna teach you how to play the game any better. So for me, I don't get why we voted for that when only, let me look at my notes, Charmers only came in at 15%. Honestly, I thought this was going to be a neck-and-neck race between Charmers and Shaddolls. And that's not me being biased towards the two. That's me thinking that the poll was in the OCG, and so we're obviously going with OCG's favorite decks. And Shaddolls I knew was a huge favorite over in the OCG just because I followed it back when it was over there. And friggin' Charmers are just weeboo, or waifu, or whatever you call I don't remember the term for it. But cute girls, come on. What's not to like in the archetype? You throw up a couple cards to get the deck centralized around something, make it so you have a Charmer that can tutor out all other Charmers, or 2 of them, and a search card, and maybe a couple of other things, and the deck's a legitimate strategy. That's for real. So to see so much representation for an archetype that me as a competitive player knows is not going anywhere, when we could have gotten Charmers, which have one of the most competitively viable cards out right now in the extra deck in the form of Fire Charmer Hita, because everyone plays Ash Blossoms. Like, you're going to be able to steal something. So that deck is way more deserving of its support than Sacred Beast, in my opinion. And I'd like to know where the support comes from. Like, I'm not a casual player. I like hyper-competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I have been that way ever since I joined the tournament scene. I got wrecked 2 or 3 times, quickly learned that casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not fun to play at your locals, or at least at my locals, to be honest. I have a really competitive locals where, you know, we've got Sky Striker players, Salad players are everywhere. There was one Thunder Dragon player for a minute, like, competitive. If you're not playing the meta, you're not winning. So I don't see the benefit of voting for a deck like this. So I'd like you guys to tell me, like, why did the OCG and so many others bind behind Sacred Beasts? Like, why that deck? Like, I'm glad Shaddolls pulled out by 1%, so I didn't have to be the video of just pure negativity of asking why did Sacred Beasts get the deck and why did more than 33%, in my opinion, throw away their vote. But that's enough negativity. I just don't know why. And for me as a competitive player, like, unless you guys can bring up some really sound arguments, I just can't see why. Because the Egyptian gods, the god cards, you know, all of them, they're for fun. Like, there's so many archetypes that accidentally support them just by throwing bodies on board. It's like, why do you need an archetype that just throws gods out on board for them to get chewed up by the meta? Because they're not immune to anything, the last I checked. They're easy to remove. They can be kaiju'd, effect veilered. Like, why? They're so easy to take care of, to get rid of. Like, you'd have to build the archetype around your opponent cannot respond to what you do. And we all love that in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But back onto the structure deck pull topic. Trap Tricks came in at 10%, and Crystal Beast came in at 8%. Now with Crystal Beast, I'm really surprised to see him that low on the list. I really thought they would have gotten a bit more of a vote. Trap Tricks, I'm not surprised, but that's because I know the fandom a bit, and no offense to you guys, you're not very widespread. There's only a few of you who absolutely love the archetype, and then the rest of us could care less and don't really understand where all the love comes from. But again, views as of a competitive player over my one Trap Trick friend is more of a collector, and I've asked him why he likes it, and he just likes the artwork. Like, and I respect that. So I'm really surprised that Crystal Beast didn't get more support, though, because I know Crystal Beast players, they love that deck. I'm surprised they were not screaming from the rooftops that they want more support. So I don't know. It was just an interesting poll. I really am grateful that Konami asked our opinions this time to see what's going on in our heads, to ask what we want as consumers. And to be honest, to all decks on this poll, as much as I give Sacred Beasts a whole bunch of flack, because of this poll, I honestly think the top 5 are all gonna see support in some way in the future now. Because, I mean, even if it's not a structure deck, now they know that 33% of the community also wants Sacred Beast support that they could release at any given time in the form of random sets. We've also stated that we want Trap Tricks and Crystal Beast support. So that's going to come in the future. Shaddolls won, so I'm not going to grind it in the nose of people who enjoyed the other archetypes, because for me, this has been a slam dunk. This is absolutely, like, my birthday, Christmas, everything all rolled up into one to see Shaddolls come back. The first truly broken fusion archetype to come back and to be just to be meta again, like just to have the opportunity, like this construct this ban list just needs to bring construct to 3, and we can start playing with Shaddolls and as an engine and getting a feel over here for when the structure deck comes out. But until then, we're stuck with construct at 1 and very limited use of light engines. And honestly, light engines back in the day were the most broken. Like, we take and abuse triple Denko Sekkas. In this format, we can take and abuse triple Ghost Ogre, triple Veiler. Surprisingly, Impermanence isn't the best hand trap for us because we'd rather have the fusion target. The Wind fusion isn't good, so we can't abuse Drawl. But Gristle's a good card. Like, not everyone's favorite, but negate a summon's good. You know which summon to negate. Get rid of the Yugioh on the Thunder Dragon board. Like, you could be sitting pretty. Like, and then also with Winda, they ruled it as a soft lock back then as well. So, I don't know. I'm just super excited, and I'm really glad to see Shaddolls coming back in this form. So, what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below what you thought about this structure deck pull, what you want to see Shaddolls get. We definitely need some good support to bring the deck back into the meta, that's for sure. Subscribe if you liked this video, and hit that notification bell if you want to see more of this face, because, man, it ain't stopping now.